I'm Literal, aka Mega Blitz. In today's video, we're going to be looking at Gholdengo Dragapult EX. Now, I will not lie to you guys, I've been playing this deck quite a bit preparing for post-rotation, and I'm actually recording this at the time of Vancouver Regionals Round 3, and just watched Little Dark Fury, aka Matthew Wood, win Game 1 in an incredible fashion against his Lugia opponent, and I was like, yep, this deck is good post-rotation, this deck is good before rotation, and I'm excited to talk about it today. So let's jump right in to that deck list. Already here at that deck list. First, we have 2 stars of the show, I would like to think. First one being Gholdengo EX. Stage 1, 260 HP. Ability, coin bonus. Once during your turn, you may draw a card. Poke goes in the active spot, you get to draw an additional card. Make it rain for 1 metal energy 50 times. Discard any number of basic energy cards from your hand. This attack does 50 damage for each card you discarded in this way. So, being able to just hit huge numbers by discarding all different kinds of energy can be very beneficial, especially when dealing with a lot of Pokemon in the format. Things like Dragapult with 330 HP, Charizard, stuff like that. Now, our second star is going to be that Dragapult EX. First attack, Jet Headbutt, 70 damage for 1 colorless energy. But Phantom Dive for a fire and a psychic energy, 200 damage. And then you put 6 damage counters on your opponent's bench Pokemon in any way you like. So, being able to kind of also deal with decks like Walls or Stall that play Cornerstone-esque Ogerpon EX, especially post-rotation, we lose Canceling Cologne. So being able to kind of have access to that Dragapult to be able to deal with the Walls deck that's going around the format, things like Milotic and the Farigiraf and the Cornerstone-esque Ogerpon EX, and even Mimikyu, this Dragapult can kind of get around that with that 6 damage counters, and not really having an ability can be very helpful. And of course, we have to play 2 Drakloak for that Recon Directive. Once during your turn, look at the top 2 cards, 1 to the hand, 1 to the bottom. So, realistically, we're using coin bonuses, we're using Recon Directive. If I take a knockout, we're using Flip the Script on top of that. So we're drawing all kinds of cards with this deck. And of course, for the supporters here, we have 4 Arven, 2 Crispin, 2 Iono, 1 boss. I could go to 2 bosses orders though. I think 2 boss is pretty solid. I would probably cut maybe a Nest Ball or maybe an Ultra Ball or something to get a second boss in the list. And then for our items, we have 4 Spirit Energy Retrieval, 4 Buddy-Buddy Poffin, 2 Ultra Ball, 2 Nest Ball, 1 Earthen Vessel, 1 Super Rod, 1 Night Stretcher. Our ace pick of choice being that Energy Search Pro. Once search your deck for any number of basic energy cards of different types, reveal them and put them into your hand. So it's kind of why you see all the different energy types here. 1 Counter Catcher, 1 Pokégear 3.0, 1 Switch, 2 Technical Machine Evolution, because we do need to evolve into a lot of these Pokemon, and it doesn't really feel too bad if you have to like TM Evo twice even at times, just to get into your Gholdengos and Dragapults and such. And then 1 Rescue Board, and then 1 Artazon. And then for the energy here, I actually do want to point out, we have to play it in kind of a specific way. 3 Metal Energy for our Gholdengo, and then 2 Psychic and 2 Fire for our Dragapult EX, and then just 1 of the rest, so 1 Grass, 1 Dark, 1 Water, 1 Fighting, and 1 Electric, to be able to kind of discard with Make It Rain. But you gotta have 2 Psychic Energy and 2 Fire Energy to be able to kind of consistently, or at least enough times, to be able to get to your Phantom Dive on your Dragapult. We also are playing the Munkidori for our Brain. If we were playing against like other Dragapult decks or anything like that, we have our Dark Energy in here that we can commit to the Munkidori in specific matchups. You could also even, I've seen people go to like 1 Psychic Energy, or sorry, 1 Fire Energy, and then go to like a second Dark Energy to be able to guarantee the Munkidori, and then just have the 1 for the Dragapult. You can kind of tweak whichever way you want, depending on what the meta looks like, but this is the list that I've been running for Gholdengo Dragapult. So now let's jump right in to that gameplay. Already here at that Gholdengo Dragapult gameplay at the coin flip. Ideally, going first or second doesn't really matter. We have 2 Technical Machine Evolutions. We can just evolve manually. It doesn't really matter here. I actually like to go second here to try to kind of pull up maybe a double TM Evo play to kind of just get my Gholdengos and Drakloaks and Dragapults just ready to go. Unfortunately, we do have to mulligan this hand. It's actually a pretty solid hand here. Got Nest Ball and stuff in there to kind of get some more pieces, but not too big of a deal. Gonna get ourselves into a better hand, I actually think. So we're going to get Gimmighoul, Munkidori, we have Buddy-Buddy Poffin, and Artazon to kind of get some more pieces. And our opponent's playing the Feraligatr deck. Now, this Feraligatr deck is kind of interesting in how it plays. Kind of like a stalling control type deck that also just can take huge knockouts at certain points and really disrupt your kind of side of the board with the Munkidoris and moving things like that. So very excited to see how this kind of plays out. This is the first time I've ever played this matchup. So we're going to throw the Artazon down. We're going to have Buddy-Buddy Poffin as well. We're going to get ourselves a Dreepy and a Gimmighoul. Artazon going to also get used here, grabbing ourselves a second Dreepy. I really think Dragapult's insane in this matchup, being able to kind of take some cheeky knockouts on the Badoo on the bench, or maybe a damaged Totodile or a Crocodile or something like that. We're going to use the Iono here, getting ourselves the Gimmighoul, and then I kind of actually I think I should have waited to use the Energy Search Pro, just in case if we get Iono, but instead I decided to go for it, and then use the Mirror Errand running attack to get 2 more energy out of my deck. I was really hoping to find ourselves into TM Evo, was the hope, so then we could evolve 1 Gholdengo and 1 Drakloak and go that route, but unfortunately that did not happen. Our opponent here going to get a Totodile, a Dunsparce, and then they're going to attach another energy to the Totodile. Now, Itchy Pollen can be very disruptive to this deck, but we're in a kind of situation where we just really need to find ourselves into our Gholdengos and our Dragapults and stuff. But that's why Technical Machine Evolution is so good in this deck, because if you do get Itchy Pollen, you can kind of just come back and it doesn't really matter too much. So we're going to go Technical Machine Evolution, using that, putting 2 Pokemon into play, 1 Gholdengo and then 1 Drakloak here, going to go right into play. Because of Technical Machine Evolution, we don't mind taking that turn. The 10 damage is whatever. We can just get a Dark Energy on our Munkidori later and then move the energy. Not too big of a deal. Our opponent going to use an Artazon here, evolve their Dunsparce into Dunsparce, and then have Munkidori and that Dark Energy rip the Iono here, disrupting our hand, unfortunately, putting all the energy to the bottom, which is something I was concerned about, but I was also trying to kind of make my draws a little better. So it was kind of interesting. Our opponent here is going to use that Runaway Draw ability, going to draw 3 cards, shuffle the Dunsparce and the Dunsparce into their deck, and I'm like, okay, they Itchy Pollen, not too big of a deal. We can draw a bunch of cards this turn. We have our Gholdengo, we have Recon Directive, we have a lot of access here. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to use that Recon Directive, get ourselves into an Arven. We're going to attach the Rescue Board to the Gimmighoul here, retreat for 1 energy out of that Gimmighoul into our Gholdengo here, just trying to maybe find a couple energies. We're going to have Arven first. Going to go Technical Machine Evolution and Pokégear 3.0. We don't mind going Evo again if we have to. We end up drawing into Energy and Technical Machine, or in the Nest Ball. So we're actually going to go for another Evo play here. So we're going to double Evo, but first we're kind of looking, okay, do I evolve my Drakloak into Dragapult? We already have both in hand. It kind of stinks. So we're going to evolve both of our Gimmighouls into Gholdengos. And the reason I do that is because when I TM Evo'd the turn before, I noticed that one of my Drakloaks was prized when I Evo'd the first time. So that turn we're going to go there, Evo both of those Gholdengos, get them set up ready to go. So our side of the board is looking pretty good. Both of us, myself and my opponent, kind of had a bit of a slow start, but because of that Technical Machine Evolution, we're kind of able to establish ourselves back into this game. My opponent here going to have Feraligatr here, going to be able to have access to that Torrential Heart ability, and then bench the Dunsparce as well. Pokégear here, you're going to use that Arven. Arven going to find himself an item and a tool card, and I'm like, well, what kind of tool would you want? Okay, so you know, Buddy-Buddy Poffin and the Luxurious Cape going to go into the Feraligatr here, and I'm like, well, that's not great. 280 HP on that Feraligatr. Torrential Heart going to be able to put some damage counters on itself. Adrenal Brain, move 3 damage counters off of that Feraligatr to our Drakloak, unfortunately. And I'm like, well, that's not ideal, but we're at least not item locked anymore, right? We're not item locked. We have access to Superior Energy Retrieval, Earthen Vessel, and then we're going to get Giant Wave, unfortunately, here for 280 damage, taking that knockout, which is pretty unfortunate for us. I think is the attack they used was Giant Wave. And I'm like, you know what? It's okay. We can just get some cards here. We're going to go Artazon, grabbing ourselves a Gimmighoul, trying to just find some pieces together. We're going to go our Earthen Vessel here, going to get ourselves a metal and a fire energy, and I'm like, not too big of a deal. We're going to attach the metal energy to our Gholdengo. Recon Directive, gonna take the Metal Energy, it looks like here. Or sorry, I'm actually gonna grab the Arven. I think the reason I grabbed the Arven is so I can actually find more pieces. So I go Night Stretcher, grab that, because I do have energy in the discard pile, so I could potentially pull that out here to get some more pieces going. I do evolve my Drakloak into Dragapult, because I don't want it to get knocked out by anything at the moment. So we're gonna go coin bonus, draw one, get into an energy, another coin bonus. We get double Crispin, unfortunately, which does not feel great. And I'm in a position where I actually can't even take the knockout on this for Alligator. We're just a couple cards short. So we're just going to Superior Energy Retrieval, pitch the Pokégear, or sorry, Crispin and the Dragapult to get both the energies out of the deck, and just try to punch for 200 maybe is kind of the play. Maybe even 150. We're actually going to grab ourselves another Gholdengo, try to maybe just get ourselves set up if we get Itchy Pollen or anything, so I can evolve into another Gholdengo. We're going to make it rain for 200, just send it, get to 220, so that I'm in a position where maybe I can Jet Headbutt the next turn, but if they had Adrenaline Brain, then we're kind of behind on that. But we have the Spirit Energy Retrieval in hand, so we're kind of in a position where I'm like, okay, we can kind of get the energies back, not too big of a deal. If they Torrential Heart, they kind of put themselves into a really scary spot. And then I can just kind of follow up with a Dragapult play, and then maybe take a 3-prize knockout or something on that for Alligator. But they don't have the Torrential Heart here, though, because they already have damage counters on the for Alligator. We really wanted to kind of one-hit knockout that and just take the 2 prizes. But Adrenaline Brain going to move some more damage counters from their for Alligator to our Dragapult EX, unfortunately. Attach the Dark Energy, retreat out of the for Alligator into the Mimikyu, just saying, hey, I don't think you can deal with this card in your deck, so figure it out. And I'm like, okay, I will figure that out. So Ultra Ball here, gonna discard Nest Ball and that Grass Energy to grab ourselves a Gholdengo EX, evolve the Gimmighoul into Gholdengo. So we're gonna have access to a lot of cards here. We got coin bonus for 1, gonna draw Spirit Energy Retrieval, not really what we wanted. We got a fistful of Spirit Energy Retrievals now. Coin bonus for 1, we're gonna draw into a Buddy-Buddy Poffin. Coin bonus for 2, we're going to draw into Counter Catcher and Super Rod, and that's what we were looking for here. So now we're in a position where Superior Energy Retrieval, we're going to discard the Buddy-Buddy Poffin and our Lightning Energy to get 4 energy back, and I retreat out of the Gholdengo into the Dragapult, attach the Fire Energy for turn, Counter Catcher, pull up that for Alligator here, and I'm like, all right, we could Iono, but they already got a pretty kind of clunky hand. They don't have the Dunsparce or anything. And I'm like, all right, we're going to take the knockout on the active, and then we're just going to commit the rest to the Mimikyu. I really should have just committed all 6 to the Mimikyu, but we ended up taking a 3-prize turn here, which I feel pretty solid about. They can just Adrenaline Brain and move the damage counters back off of the Mimikyu, though, which does feel a little bad. But we're kind of in a position where we can kind of outrace them with the 6 damage counters being placed by Dragapult. We also have access to Mind Bend on the Munkidori if we need to attack with that in a pinch. We also have our own Adrenaline Brain to move the damage counters back and then take another knockout or something on it. So they're actually going to Counter Catcher, pull up our Munkidori, use the Runaway Draw, evolve the Totodile into Crocodile. Going to have access to Reverse Thrust here, and Adrenaline Brain going to move those 3 damage counters off of the Mimikyu onto our Dragapult, unfortunately. And then they're going to attach the Rescue Board to that Mimikyu. They're actually going to go for the Big Bite because they have that Relicanth here, so they can use the attacks of the evolution Pokemon beneath whatever that one is. So Munkidori can't retreat now, unfortunately, but we do play 1 copy of Switch. So Arven, grab the Switch, attach the Dark Energy, use the Switch into the Dragapult, and then I'm like, all right, Adrenaline Brain, move some damage counters around. We're going to put 3 damage counters back onto your Mimikyu. And we're in a position where if I can find Counter Catcher or something, but we only play 1, so we're kind of out of that option. So we're actually just going to commit the 4 damage counters to the Mimikyu, and actually just send them all to the Mimikyu, so then they can't Adrenaline Brain and put anything back on my side. There's not really a reason not to. So we're going to take 2 prize cards here, knocking out that Crocodile and that Mimikyu, and our opponent just knows they are out of this game. So we end up picking up the W there against the Feraligatr deck, really being able to showcase the flexibility of the Dragapult Gholdengo deck by taking big knockouts or just drawing a bunch of cards with the Make It Rain, taking knockouts with the Make It Rain, drawing a bunch of cards with coin bonus, and the Recon Directive, the Dragapult Phantom Dive spread damage counters, and the Munkidori being able to kind of move stuff back. Really, really strong deck, and I'm really genuinely considering playing this at a competitive level for post-rotation. So now let's jump right in to that outro. Alright, it's going to do it all for today's video. I'm going to make sure to post the deck list that I played in today's video in the description below, ready for copy paste into TCG Live. And while you're down there, if you're enjoying the content I've been making stuff for the channel, don't forget to leave a like, smash the subscribe button. I would appreciate it. And of course, also really consider joining the Mega Blitz PokeCove Discord. I've been kind of making a lot of quality life changes to that over there. And of course, follow me on Twitter as well. But I want to give a huge shout out to all these great, awesome people here for being channel members here at the Mega Blitz YouTube channel. They are part of the Trainer Club, and if you join the Trainer Club, you get access to photo status updates, prior to reply to comments, a special role in the Discord, and you also get access to a lot of exclusive emotes, and you get the changing rare candy kind of member badge that you see here, with Odessa and Evan having the green one for being kind of members for such an extended period of time, Bugs for 2 months having the red one, and then the first month that you get the normal rare candy. But I'll see you all in the next one. Peace!